Away guys, CPT mechanic here. And if you are having issues with your third brake light not working and you can't find a replacement part for it, in this video I'm going to show you how to retrofit your existing one with a new LED strip to make it work. So your third brake light can be working perfectly, even better from the factory and on the cheap. Let's get cracking. Right, so this boot spoiler is held on with 4 bolts right on top, holding the spoiler in. So let's pop off the rubber cover. Let's pull out the electrical connector between the car and the brake light. Let's pop it off by hand, and I'm using a old broom to keep pressure on the brake pedal to actuate the brakes. So let's check if there's power getting to the brake light itself from the car. Let's have a look. So there you can see 11.9 volts, so there's definitely power going to the brake light. So let's use an 8mm socket to remove the boot spoiler. This is just held in very, very lightly by hand. So popping it off, third one off, and fourth one off. And let's pop off the boot spoiler. So unfortunately the brake light is held into the boot spoiler, so the boot spoiler has to come off, which is probably a good thing considering its condition. It looks terrible. Even the foam strip is busy falling off. So let's pop out the electrical connector. Yeah, there you can see the boot spoiler has been sun damaged. Clear coat is coming off, so it's probably time for a respray in any case. Okay, so let's just check power to the scrap or spare battery I have laying around. Let's check if there's power to it. Yep, over 12 volts, that's enough voltage. So let's try to power the brake light again with this battery, just to make 100% sure, and nothing is happening at all. So this LED strip, the LED brake light, is a dud. Has to be replaced. So using a Phillips or star screwdriver, let's pop off the 2 screws, holding it into the spoiler, and let's just pop out the old LED unit or brake light unit, popping it out of the boot spoiler. There we go. So you can see it's not the same as a VW Polo 9N high brake light. Even though the cars share a platform, the brake lights differ. So I can't just buy one to fit this car. So let's take a couple of measurements of the brake light, the LED unit. So 310 by 50. And this is a sealed unit from the factory. There's the part numbers on top. So I'm just using a knife to cut it open. So I've tried to find this part at the local aftermarket stores. No one has stock of it. I even went to VW themselves, which is a parent company of Seat, and they don't stock it in South Africa. So the only way would probably be to import it overseas, which would probably cost 2 to 3 grand, if not more, and I'm not prepared to spend that kind of money for this. So anyway, let's split the brake light apart. There's the red cover coming off, and let's pop out the little LED strip held onto the base or held onto the mount. So popping it out with a screwdriver. There we go. There's a little motherboard or circuit board to the back of it. So I'm sure it's failed in some way or another. So let's cut off the existing wiring harness. And guys, if you're enjoying these videos, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe if you want to see more in future. Thanks a lot guys. You guys are superstars. So let's carry on. Having a look at the little LED strip held onto the plastic cover. And let's take another measurement. So this measurement will be very important when ordering the new LED strip. 310 by 20 by 22 millimeters. Very, very important guys. So that you know which size or which length LED strip to order for your replacement. Right, let's move on. So this is the spoiler. I gave it a light sand in preparation for a respray. You can see it looks a bit neater or a bit cleaner. And I won't be doing this spray job myself, so I've sent it off to be professionally resprayed, and this is the outcome. It looks 10 times better with primer, base coat and clear coat. It's a metallic and looks 10 times better for installation. Right, so this is the LED strip I bought, 44 bucks from a online store overseas. 44 rand. I hope it lasts. It is very cheap, but we move on. So Victor Rens to the rescue. Let's pop on some Victorines onto the foam strip. So this will be mounted back onto the spoiler. It was loose. I gave it a clean, gave the bottom of the spoiler a clean and the foam strip a clean. And just putting on some adhesive to ensure it sticks to the spoiler. Cool. So that's enough Victorines. Let's pop on the rubber strip. The foam strip. With some light pressure as well. Ensuring that contact is good and it's nice and straight and secure. Without this, the spoiler will probably flop around onto the car and damage the paintwork. So this is very important it stays on. Right. So let's take off the motherboard or circuit board. It's pretty useless at this point. I won't be needing it. So even if it breaks, so be it. It's coming off either way. So, circuit board off. And let's just do a dry fit of the LED strip, popping it into the back of the channel where the old circuit board was. It sort of fits, but not quite. It's not sitting flush and there's no way I can mount it. So this is not going to work. It has to come out. Would have liked for it to fit in here. Maybe if the sides were a few millimeters wide it could have worked, but let's take it out. Instead, let's try the front of the plastic strip or plastic cover. Yeah, this will work much better. This is where the LED will sit. Nice and flush with the cover. Right, so Victorines to the rescue once again. The LED strip does have some sort of adhesive backing if you peel off the tape, but I don't trust it. I've seen them come loose in the past. I trust Victorines over whatever adhesive they've used on the strip. If it can hold oil in the oil sump and coolant housings to the block, I'm sure it will work perfectly fine here for this light application. Anyway, let's pop on the LED strip and let's give it some light pressure to ensure a good seal between the strip and the little transparent cover, and some more light pressure with a cloth. Wiping it down, getting off any excess RTV off.
20 minutes later.
And after it has set adequately, let's pop in the newly installed LED strip into the black housing. So popping the wires through the little hole and popping the LED cover on, LED strip on, making sure it's seated nicely where it's going to live. There are little hooks or clips in the back. So let's put a layer of silicone onto the red cover. Unfortunately, I do not have a caulking nozzle that would have made the job go a lot easier, but sometimes using your finger is just 10 times better, if you know what I mean, eh? But anyway, let's gloss over that one. So, ensuring the silicone is applied to the entire edge of the red cover, just spearing it around. A thin bead would have been much better around the perimeter, but we gotta do what we gotta do, use what we have available to us. So smearing a thin layer around and using a cloth to wipe off any excess silicone on the outside and on the inside, because whatever is stuck on the inside you won't be able to wipe off again. So let's pop on the red cover onto the base, making sure the holes line up and slotting it in nicely. Just putting some more light pressure on it and ensuring a good seal. It has to be waterproof, don't forget that. And using a cloth to wipe down any excess silicone on the entire LED unit or brake light unit. There we go, looking a bit better. And while the silicone is out, using some silicone onto the rubber strip which is glued onto the LED unit as well. And there we go, some silicone on. And let's pop the rubber strip or the foam strip onto the unit. Some more light pressure as well. Right, there we go. Just smearing the silicone as well. Yeah, it's looking a bit better. Right, so let's test it out. So connecting the positive and negative to the car battery. And there's the LEDs glowing nicely, simulating braking. So the LED unit works perfectly fine. It's time to reinstall on the spoiler. So slotting it into its home on the spoiler. Let's pop on the plastic clips, right hand side and left hand side. There we go. And let's put in the two Phillips screws back in, securing it onto the spoiler. Right, so let's strip the two wires onto the wiring harness. That's the first one, and that's the second one stripped. So we have to connect this to the headlight unit, or to the brake light unit, should I say. Feeding it into the sleeve. There we go. Right, so let's pop on the heat shrink onto the wire. Let's fold the wires onto each other, tie it onto each other. There we go. And let's finish it with some solder. So you can just wrap it on each other and tape it up, but I don't trust that. By soldering it, this will ensure that it won't fall apart and it won't corrode. And let's finish it off with some heat shrink tape. Shrinking it on. And that's first connection secured, and the second one is done as well, ensuring a good connection and seal. And let's put on the sleeve back on over the connections. There we go. That's looking factory fresh, nearly factory fresh, should I say. And I bought a couple of new clips that will go onto the car. So let's pop it into the spoiler. Other clips already in. Right, it's time for reinstallation. Feeding the wires or connector through into the car and popping the spoiler clips back into the holes, back into the mounting holes, lining it up, just giving it a couple of love taps, smacking it in place, pulling the connectors through or the wiring harness through and connecting it back onto the car. Right, there we go, easy as pie. Feeding the wiring harness back in. Yeah. And let's put on the 4 bolts once again, hand tightening only. The torque spec is very low on this, probably 5 to 10 newtons. It can't be more than that. So hand tightening. That's 3. And that's 4. And there we go. And let's pop the rubber cover back on again. And here's the spoiler in all its glory, looking factory fresh back onto the car with a new LED strip on. It looks 10 times better as what it was before this. Guarantee that. Okay, so let's give the brakes a test. Oh yes, all the LEDs lighting up nicely when actuating the brake pedal. Fantastic. Let's check the backside of all the lights. Job done, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck with your repair and I hope to catch you in the next video. Cheers and keep well.